Welcome back to another episode of Flying Model Rockets. And I know it's been a while, I'm sorry, but I finally got a job to afford to continue to do this. And luckily I also bought some of these rockets on sale. Otherwise I definitely would not be able to do this. But anyhow, this episode I'm going to show you how to make the Hi-Flier from Estes Industries. It's a skill level 1, and I don't know much about it, but I'm going to open it and we're going to go through it and we're going to assemble it. And stay tuned. I hope you enjoy this. Thanks. Again, the rocket is the Hi-Flier, and it says it's skill level 1. I have I think a skill level I got a 5, 4, and I think a 3. Maybe I'm missing a 2. But anyhow, so we're going to assemble this and you'll see how it goes. And again, for those who made postings on YouTube, I appreciate that. And because of you, I decided to continue doing this once I got some funds. I won't be able to do a lot of these things because unfortunately this is a relatively expensive hobby now. Was back when I got started, but anyhow. And I plan to do other kits from other companies and some old ones. Anyhow, here's the kit. Nice plastic bag. And it has, of course, the information sheet. I like to keep a hold of these because it tells you what kind of engines you use. I like the ones that come with the cards. I still wish Estes would do that, but yeah. So there's that, and it contains a body tube. I believe that's probably to mark the engine. Block the nose cone. Sets of instructions. Actually, I got 2 sets of instructions. That's kind of neat. So I can put one away and keep it. Set of instructions. 2 sets of decals. Wonder why. Anyhow, 2 sets of decals. And of course some of the 1-year warranty information. Foreign language version of it, the little flyer. Then you have the plastic bag that contains all the nice pieces that we need in order to make this thing work. Which contains the parachute, actually the streamer, the launch lug, the engine clip, the thrust string, a little tube for the engine mount, and the nose cone end, and some clay, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be used to add weight to the nose cone, and laser cut fins. And I don't know if I like laser cut fins or not, but I got some, and I still use a razor blade to separate them. I mean a X-Acto knife. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. There's one. And like I said before, I like to keep the balsa. I don't know why, but there's been times where I had to use it for shims or make small pieces or something, so I'll just hold on to it. And it's got these little tabs in here. Need to cut those out. And then typically again I'm going to open up the instructions because it's always a good idea to follow your instructions. And you do want to combine them together and sand them. They recommend you sand it before you know what's still in the sheet. I don't know how important that is. If you want to do it, go ahead and do it. I didn't. Oh, I see why. These are not in English. Verboten, I think it's in German. And we have an English form of it. I do like sanding the edges of these. It also recommends you sand the leading edge, which this would be the leading edge, round. And I really shouldn't use a curved piece of Okay. And then it says it recommends you curve this this edge, which I will do. Okay, so I've sanded those so they're rounded over. Pretty good, not great. Alright. And now the next thing is you need to mark the body tube. And it actually has the body tube marker right here that also includes your little the fin marking guide, but also the shot cord mount. So okay, you can use scissors. And there's part of me that really doesn't like seeing you cut out this thing that says you need to mark the engine mount at the same time this is step 2. So actually what I'm going to do is tell you here from a little start. I'm going to put this back and I'm going to do the step that I'm cutting out. So right here it says mark 1/4 inch up, and now I have to find my ruler, which I think I do have the ruler. Okay, ruler. And I lost some of my measurements here from something I was working on with acetone. Took it off. Alright. And left an ink pen going. So anyhow, I'll mark it with this. Now, 1/4 of an inch. So what it says, mark 1/4 of an inch up. Alright. So that is done. So I've got, now I can cut that out, which it's already cut out. Alright. Then what I can do is I put it on here. Doesn't matter which direction. Doesn't matter which end is the thing. And the gray area goes under, and then you line up your arrows. I don't know if you can see that gray area goes under, and you line up your arrows to where they point each other, and then you tighten it up. Alright, and then it says to mark them, so I'll mark it right there, there, holding it steady. So fins and launch lug. This is the launch lug mark. So I'm going to actually put an L right there. So I've got it marked. And I mark right on the body tube. I don't care. You can do it in pencil if you want to erase it. Alright. And I'd recommend a fine pen or whatever. I'm using a mark because that's what I had handy. Alright, then you need something to do the edge level. Like I said, I have this board that I slide back. I don't know if you can see it here, but and I got that marked LL. So now I'm going to draw my fin lines. There's one. This is the launch lug line. Run that a little higher just in case. Another fin line. And another fin line. Alright. And you can do that in the door jamb. They have angle pieces that you can mark it with. You can find a piece of plastic or whatever to make one for you. Just an angle. Okay, so now they're marked. And it says to apply some glue into the end about 2.5 inches. So they said to mark it at 2.5, so I will mark it at 2.5. I set that down somewhere and I've lost it here. Oh, underneath that. 2.5 inches. Let me double check. 2.5 inches. All right. All right, and that's correct. This should line up right there. Okay, so that's what you want to do. And again, like I showed you before in the past, what I always do is I'll take some tape. I like that used tape, and I'll wrap it right around here on that mark. And see, that makes a great stop. I can't push that in any farther. That's right on that little mark I made. So I'll shove it up there like that, and it stops. As a matter of fact, if these are consistent, which most of the time they are, I could just make one of these and keep it handy, and I really should do that. Just quarter-inch one, mark that that's a quarter of an inch, and or mark the distance here of this, which is standard for these engines. I use this. So anyhow, now I got to find some glue, and I had moved it, so I'll be back. Okay, after that is dried, it says to mark 1 inch from the end. And that will be where this ring goes to, right there at the bottom of it. But we also need to mark up 2.5 inches, and that really that's supposed to be between, here's where the launch leg is, so it needs to be between here and here, where those things are at. So I'm going to go ahead and mark those again. One of them is at 2.5 inches. Okay, again, this is in one of those areas where the launch leg is not. 2.5 inches, and the other one is 1 inch. Okay, so I have the 1 inch, 2.5 inches. Again, let me show you this. Launch lug goes here, and this is where I marked them. Now I could have also marked them over here. These long lines are where the fins go. So this is launch lug fin. You just don't stick it here. So I'm sticking it right there. And then what it is, you need to cut a little tiny hole right in here. Which I'm hoping, actually I'm going to have to do a little different. I'm going to have to go down a little bit lower, because that's where my ring is. It's supposed to go in just underneath the ring. So mine ended up being, I guess I ended up getting it 2.5. Yeah, I'm just a 16 short of being in the correct spot, but this will still work. Right, so now you attach the engine lock, and it'll try to show you the correct way. See this little piece? This clips to the bottom of the engine, so you'll want to attach it right in here, so it looks like that. Got it? And then you want to have it straight. I'm going to have to mark that little line a little bit farther. Right to there. So now this ring will end up sliding down to where the bottom of it is right there. So that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to apply some glue. Right, open the container. Apply some glue. Yeah, that's one problem. Sometimes you get this thing so filled up. There it goes. Okay, and then we want to slide. Now I could have just slid this up here before I slid down, but I didn't. So I'm just going to slide it down from the top. And then take it right down. I'm going to turn it also as I do this, both directions, since it's picking up some of the glue. And slide it right down to that line. And then I want to straighten up that piece right there. So there it is. As you can see what direction the clip goes. There you go. So you stick my hand there, so that's it. See where the clip goes? Alright, so that's it. And so the next thing is you want to glue on the fins. And like I said before, is that I like the tendency to do it to one side to where I can see that line when I glue them on. And again, I'm going to get myself a little bit of glue here squeezed out. And pick up some glue, make sure I've got it all the way along there. I typically do that by running my finger along the edge here. That also picks up some extra. And then place it onto one side, and this little notch here will go up against this ring. So that'll help align it up and down for you. So there you go. See how the ring fits in there? And there's the fin attached. It's starting to slide over to one side. If you have a fin alignment guide, it helps out. I don't have one. That looks about right. Try not to put on too much extra glue. It's looking pretty good. Now the secret is to let it set to dry. And there are a variety of neat ways to hold it. And then I gotta repeat that for the other three fins. Now I actually could do that if I'm careful. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Normally I don't. I do one at a time, but I'm in a little bit of a rush. I'm just anxious. And again, I'm consistent. If I'm on one side of it, I'm going to stay on the same side of the line. I do not glue it to the launch lug one because I've marked the launch lug, and that's why I marked the launch lug. And see, this one's already starting to fall. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it to look down and make sure that it's aligned correctly. And Guess I can flip it over. Because that ring will help hold them up and down. And matter of fact, I should just be able to do this. Careful. And so I gotta wait and let these things dry and add the other fin, and I'll be back. And this is just a little side light thing I want to show you. I was holding the, turned out pretty good. I was having the rocket set up like this. Now let me show you a neat trick, or gizmo. Find an old engine that you have, and get a block of wood. Doesn't matter. You can use super glue, wood glue, whatever you want to, and just put some glue down, spread it out, put the engine on there, let it dry, and then you have a stand to let fins dry, or even to display your rocket. See, and again, I don't like, but once it's dry, you know, you've got a display stand. At the same time, you can use it to hold your engine up to let your fins dry. So there you go, nice little additional thing, and we'll let that dry, and then I've got one. I used to do that all the time, but I'm going to finish adding the fillets, or fillets, however you want to call it, to either side of this fin. I've done it to the others, but I've got my fins on there now. I'm going to do a little bit of sanding from the glue. And so the next step now is to work out the putty. I did these in actually a different order. Number one was to do the nose cone. Matter of fact, it's easier just to cut all four sides off if you can. Then you can just peel these things apart. So you need to work your putty together. This one has a little bit of a waxy film or something to it. It says roll it out into a little thing, then pack it down into the tip of your nose cone. Now that's a nose cone weight. Now, when I first started in model rockets, they gave you a little lead weight that you'd screw onto the nose cone. Now since they have these plastic nose cones, you can just pack it down in there. There you go. Alright, that weight's in there. Hold up to the light, you can kind of see it in there. So that helps change the center of gravity, which is very important in some model rockets. Then I have my you'll use this in a well ventilated area. I really mean that. I don't really have one right here. Put the glue on the inside, Make sure we go all the way around. Slip this thing in there and give it a couple twists until you feel it starting to bind, getting tight. Then you gotta let it dry. So then the nose cone is done. And by the way, I'm going to sand a little bit here because see, there's some flashing. I don't like saying this, but those emery boards that girls get for their fingernails, and I guess guys do too, those can be very handy, but you can make some of your own by getting various grits of this and gluing them onto just wood sticks or popsicle sticks you can buy, and craft sticks you can buy. Just trimming the extra off the outside, and then you've got your own. Hopefully those craft sticks are flat enough. If not, then make your own. You can even use your leftover balsa wood to make them, but it's not as strong. Alright, so here I am with this step of it. Okay, again, I need to finish putting in the fillets to help fill up those holes. There's little holes in here that will be filled up by the thing. And I'm looking to see how consistent I was about putting the... I probably put this fin a little too high up. I like trying to put the top of the little thing because it gives you about almost a 1/16 of an inch slide either way, which can be funny down here, but it's not a big deal. It looks real nice. I think I got it. So nose cone, body, and then the next step to this is just doing your recovery. Move that out of the way. So again, your little shock cord mount is on your fin guide. You don't have to be delicate cutting it out now. Use a pair of scissors. I like using this. And I'm going to now stop and look for my shock cord. Oh, right here, all of it is. And I'll be right back. Okay, the last steps of this is to attach the streamer, attach your launch lug, okay, so the launch lug's in with the kit, and we marked on here where the launch lug goes, and it says to put it about about 2 1/8 inch up from the bottom. It's a little bit under the mark that I'd made there, actually. 2 1/8. Two and an eighth, and that's where the bottom goes, along that line that we'd marked before for launch lug. Again, you need some glue. on the edge, place it at the bottom and along that line. Try to make sure it's straight. And then you can use some of the glue to attach your shot cord. And again, it doesn't matter which order you do this in, but I usually put some glue here on one. Attach my cord, and I like doing it at a slight angle. I don't know why, so that as it goes up, it comes out the center, kind of. And that flattens it a little bit more. Put some glue here to area 2. Pull along the line again. The line could be on the outside. Actually, should have pulled it the other direction. There it goes. Again, got those two glued together. Put some glue on. I like doing it on this side. There's leftover glue there. And folding it over again. And then my preference, again, you could put it, let me show you. I've said before in the past, you can attach it this side to the internal of the rocket or this side. I like putting this side because then it causes this to be smoother and it gives it larger area attached. This only has that attached. This you hope holds. So that's what I do. And it shows to put it in there. Well, where does it show that? It says stick it in about an inch, and inch to inch and a half is fine. I'd probably stick it down there about an inch and a half, and you know what, I'm just going to do that. Inch and a half should be about right down there, about right there. So what I'm going to do, it fell apart here. So what I'm going to do is hold it about right here, inch and a half, get some glue on here. Put the glue inside there. I'm also going to put some glue right on this piece, in case if I miss my spot. Send it out, try to find the glue on the inside where I put it. Flatten it out. It's nice if you have I mean, I can use this to do it, or a pencil. Let me show you. Get down here. I've taken this and done it. I use my finger to do it. If your fingers are small enough for your fingers to do it, you can do it with that. Alright, now next step is to attach the shot cord to the nose cone. I recommend you tie a couple of knots. then I also put a little bit of glue on it too. This time I'm going to put some model glue just because it's easier to handle than the wood glue. This is just my thing. You don't have to do that, but it does give it a little extra binding. And then the last step is actually to attach your streamer. Now, you can knot your streamer into this if you want to. You can tape your streamer into this if you want to. There are a variety of options to do. They show tape. And for right now I'm going to use some of that tape that I have, although I don't recommend this tape. I recommend something a little stronger. This doesn't exactly hold well, but for right now that's what I'm going to do to show you. Then last thing for you to do is roll it up, stick it down there. I'm not going to stick it down in there right now because it will have a tendency to stick to the glue, so I'm going to let all the glue dry. I'm going to finish doing any fillets or fillets along these things, which I've already done these on here. I need to do this on here, and at this point in time, once you put your engine in, the appropriate engine, get the igniter set correctly and everything else, this is ready to fly. I do also recommend you trim off, leave a little tab there, but trim off extra of that. So there's a little tab left, that's fine. If you have too much, it has a tendency to get caught in as you're putting it into the body tube. The last step would be to paint it. If you want to paint it, add the decals, etc. I typically don't go through and show those in the video. But we are now ready to fly this rocket once everything dries and we put in our engine, and that's dried up nicely. Makes a nice stand here. There you go. If I have a parachute, I generally don't like wadding them up and put them in the tube for display purposes, although that makes them look nice. I find out that it has a tendency to let the parachute bunch up over a period of time, sometimes depending on how you have them. But as far as streamers go, I don't mind. The only reason why I'm not sticking it in there right now is because of the fact I gotta let that dry at the top. But there you go, and there's a nice little launch stand I showed you how to, display stand, as well as a stand for gluing on fins and stuff. So there you go. This happens to be Estes Hi-Flier, skill level 1. Very nice rocket put together. And again, maybe in future episodes I'll show you how to paint these. And you're ready to go now. That's it. So thank you. Come back, watch some more videos. I hope you'll be kind enough to if not anything, share these things and like them, but I hope that you also do some donations through Patreon and other things to help me continue to do these things, because these are expensive to put together. Thanks. Bye.